suitcases. As soon as he arrived home, my husband didn't even bother to greet my parents.
Jeez, I come back from Italy exhausted, and now this? Is this how it's gonna be? Is this meant as some sort of retaliation? But seriously, this is going too far.
He started to clamor and rant and rave about it. And then...
Eat this.
He threw what was probably meant to be a souvenir cheese. You saw everything, didn't you? I asked my in-laws, who had witnessed the entire affair. My husband himself doesn't seem to realize how inappropriate his actions are. It's become too commonplace.
We've seen it all.
My in-laws had no choice but to answer. But my oblivious husband continued his barrage of accusations.
Huh? What are you talking about? What did you see?
Truly despicable. I'll show you. What you just did, it's a seriously hurtful act, you know.
Huh? What do you mean? What act are you talking about? Besides, what does that matter? We're family after all.
Even within a family, there are good and bad things you can do. Saying eat this to anyone, that's not okay, right? I mean, even if it's not family, you've done it to other people before, haven't you? My daughter said. And turning to my parents-in-law, she continued, Grandma and Grandpa, help. With these words, she played an audio clip on her phone. My in-laws listened to the audio clip. By the time they finished listening, their expression had changed to one of, we have to help our grandchild. The audio clip began with the voice of my husband saying,
Why isn't there any toothpaste?
Followed by the sound of something flying. Ouch! My scream could be heard.
Stop whining over a tissue box. I'm busy in the morning. How could you run out of toothpaste?
And it ended there. My daughter tapped on another audio clip. Then,
There's no clean shirt here.
With my husband's angry voice, there was also a sound of things being moved.
You wouldn't get a bruise from something like an orange. Do you expect me to go get my shirt from the dresser in the morning? At such a busy time?
And then my daughter switched the screen of her phone from audio to image and showed a single photo. This is from the morning of the trip. There in the photo was me soaked, the floor flooded, and the overturned bucket. Oh. By the time they heard the audio and saw the photo, my in-laws were already speechless.
Meredith, it was the flu, right? You had a high fever. At such a time? This child.
My mother-in-law's voice trembled. While looking at this photo, I explained the situation to my in-laws. This was the morning when my fever wouldn't go down. Thomas said, I'll cool your fever down. He poured a bucket full of cold water over me.
What? No. I can't believe.
At this point, my in-laws could only let out screams. Amidst that, there was another voice of surprise, but for a different reason. It was my husband.
What? No.
Apparently, he hadn't thought he was being recorded as evidence. My daughter, trembling with fear, spoke up. I was scared. So scared that something like this would happen. I started recording. She tightly gripped her phone, her voice trembling.
We're sorry that it came to this, that we didn't notice, couldn't do anything.
My mother-in-law tried to comfort my daughter, looking flustered. I continued with my explanation. So, my daughter, due to the escalating nature of my husband's daily actions, started avoiding him, and him getting angry about that avoidance itself. I was considering divorce upon my husband's retirement.
Huh?
My husband's expression was like that of a deer caught in headlights.
Divorce?
It seemed like he hadn't even considered it. My husband, now in a state of panic, seemed to have lost his earlier bravado and was clinging on to me, wondering where it had all gone.
Well, I didn't mean it like that at all. And besides, if things I've said or done have been tough on you all, why didn't you say something about it sooner?
He starts to say. Say something about what? I've told you countless times. Every time I've said it's not something worth getting angry about and it just ruins the mood. But even then, you didn't stop. I said, deciding to quietly let out all the patience I've had until now. But despite this, my husband persists.
If you had said it more sternly,
I sighed. I think everyone is like that. When the victim explodes, the perpetrator often doesn't realize they're causing harm. This time is no exception. I decided to use this opportunity to talk to my parents and in-laws about everything he's done to others, including getting angry at other drivers during car rides and at the cashier in supermarkets. As for my husband,
Did I really say such things? I don't think I did.
but each time, I was there, I heard it, my daughter would say. It seemed like, for some reason, shouting made things clear for him. Even if he remembered or not, it seemed like he thought he only said a few words. As I listened to these various exchanges, I couldn't help but think. You often see people shouting at the supermarket, but I wonder if after they've done it, they forget what they said.
So even then, just all these little things that I don't even remember. I mean, sure, I've piled them up, but still, it doesn't change the fact that they are all trivial, like making a fuss about small matters or going to such lengths,
My husband said, bringing the conversation back. I understand that having the house cleared makes a terrifying visual impact, and it's understandable that it might shock you. However, my mother-in-law,
You don't think you let it build up that much to explode? What's trivial about this?
with a voice filled with equal parts anger and sadness, she squeezed out her words, causing my husband's momentum to wane. We were steadily preparing for retirement 2 months later. It's just that it happened earlier, so we could do it this soon, I said. My mother then said,
She had already consulted with us, and when you two separated, she came to our house. We too had heard many stories and felt that a divorce was inevitable, and we also wanted to evacuate our grandchild as soon as possible.
This proved to us that her intention had existed for a long time. My mother-in-law then said,
You might think it's trivial, but this is already a grave sin. I wonder how Autumn felt about recording and taking pictures with her phone. I wonder how Meredith felt about clearing the house. To imagine the resolve you made, it feels like my heart is about to burst. Don't you even have that kind of imagination? Can't you think from others' perspectives? Even if you don't expect forgiveness, apologize. Apologize not with "I'm sorry, please forgive me," but with the meaning "I'm sorry, I won't do it again."
She shouted and slapped my husband on the back. Before my husband, she put her hands on the floor. At the same time, my father-in-law also placed his hands.
I'm truly sorry. My son has been terribly disrespectful.
His father held my husband's head down to apologize. However,
We're not getting a divorce. Don't make decisions on your own.
my husband continued to say something like that.
You're really something.
With tears in her eyes, my mother-in-law fiercely slapped my husband's back.
You must really have the heart of a demon to be able to listen to a recording like that and still feel like you're not leaving.
Hearing that, I thought, when we got married, my husband didn't have such a heart of stone in him, but with age, maybe a demon has taken residence. Thinking about it, I wondered if clearing the house might make the demon leave as well. I decided to sprinkle salt in the parking lot just in case. Eventually, we ended up with a mutual divorce, but my daughter's recordings served as evidence, acknowledging the psychological distress I endured daily, so I received compensation. My daughter and I stayed with my parents for a while, then we rented an apartment shortly after. I continued working at the life insurance company as usual. I felt relieved not to experience random stressors like oranges or tissues flying at me anymore. Looking back, it was quite a stressful situation. The site of the house was turned into a parking lot, which brought in a fixed income, which I used to save a little money for my daughter's wedding. My in-laws were truly furious and never allowed my husband to enter the house, seemingly to protect their grandchild. As for my in-laws,
Stay away from my grandchild and leave this town.
they told my husband, and he moved far away. I didn't care if I was going to be in the dark financially as he approached retirement and had to pay alimony. A few years later, my daughter got married. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were also present at the wedding. I'm able to hold the ceremony being cherished by everyone. Our daughter looked so happy, being watched over by both sets of grandparents. My mother-in-law, father-in-law, my parents, and I were all there for our daughter. I framed and displayed a group photo of all 6 of us tightly packed together.